Citation and integrity are two different things, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's my fact. It's not friendly, it's the same thing.
Yeah. Hi everybody. In this video, I'm going to be doing laws of sines and cosines. We see here our law of sines. There are two other ways of writing this, but I'll show you those in a second. We have our law of cosines, and again, there are two other ways of writing this, but I'll show you in a second. So with the law of sines, the biggest thing to notice, we use these when we do not have right triangles. Same thing with law of cosines. Banana phone. Lavi, I see you. Dallin, Dakota, I see you. I see you all. Alright, so with this, in order to use law of sines, notice in your equation you have 1, 2, 3, 4. The sides are across from the angle. You have to have at least one side across from one angle you know, and then one other side or one other angle. It doesn't matter, but you are going to be able to find that. The other interpretations of this formula are sine B over B equals sine C over C. That says sick. And sine A over A equals sine C over C. And the biggest thing that you need to know about law of cosines, notice it's kind of like Pythagorean theorem, like this first part over here is like Pythagorean theorem, and then you have that minus 2bc cosine A tagged onto it. Notice it's law of cosines, so you have a cosine involved. And with this one, if you have A, B, B, C, C, notice all the sides are across from the angles too. Again, just always write it like that. It'll make it less confusing. So with this one, you are going to have side, angle, side, and that's when you will be able to use law of cosine. And again, there's different variations on this as well. You could have b squared equals a squared plus c squared minus 2ac cosine b, or c squared equals a squared plus b squared minus 2ab cosine c. But notice they're all the same thing, where whatever you have squared, you have that angle on the side of the cosine, and then the other things are just the other two sides. Again, that side, that angle, that side, that angle. The other things are going with the rest of your formula. So let's actually look at some examples of when these are used. Alright, so if we have an example like this, and it says solve the triangle, all it's asking you to do is find the missing sides or the missing angles, whatever you are missing. So in this one, I'm missing the side B, I'm missing angle A, and I'm missing angle C. C is 10, B is 30 degrees, I know it's kind of small, it's hard to read, 30 degrees, and A is 8. Well, in this case, I know I have side, angle, side. I do not have an angle across from a side that I know I have this angle, but I don't know that side. I have this side, but I do not know angle C. I have side A, but I do not know angle A. So with this one, I'm going to have to use law of cosines, where I have angle B. I'm looking for angle, or side B. So I can say b squared equals a squared plus b squared, c squared. Whoa, Michael! Huh? Hi, Lavi. Hi, Lavi. I see you. Outshout? Huh? Outshout? Like outhouse?
What's outhouse?
What's an outhouse?
Like, is it not a bathroom?
Yeah, outside.
You sound so...
No, I was thinking outback.
That's a steakhouse.
Yeah. That's really big.
Okay, so there's your law of cosine set up. And then you can go and just type this in your calculator. Make sure you're in degrees, though. Degrees, please. 8 squared plus 10 squared. You better be sorry. Minus 2 times 8 times 10. Cosine 30 degrees. Yay. I typed it in my calculator. Yay. 8 squared plus 10 squared minus 2 times 8 times 10 times cosine 30. Yay. I get 25.435. But notice that is b squared equals that. So if that is b squared, well, I think you get rid of squares by taking the square root, because we have b squared equals 25.436. So if I take the square root of both things, cool trick in your calculator. If you hit square root, if you hit second negative sign, it will take the square root of your previous answer. Hit enter, 5.04. That is your side B. So B equals 5.04. If it gives you units, make sure you write units. In this case, it doesn't, so I'm not going to. Alrighty. Oh, the pep rally's coming back. I tried making marshmallow once and I caught the pan on fire. Alright. So now with the rest of this one, now that we know what B is, this is 5.04. Oh, Michael, why'd you do that? Oh. You're not doing anything wrong, Michael. It's okay. Alright, so now that we have an angle across from a side we know, we can use law of sines to find another angle. I will tell you, do not use law of sines to find the largest angle. Do not use law of sines to find the largest angle. Do not use law of sines to find the largest angle. Do not use law of sines to find the largest angle. Sometimes weird things happen and you find actually the reference angle, but you don't know you're finding the reference angle, so we're just not going to mess with that. If you're in pre-AP, you will, but with me in regular, you won't. Hi, Lobby. Do you like bananas?
I mean, yeah.
You mean yeah?
I just wanted to see how you were doing all this.
Magic.
You're right.
So C would be my largest angle because it's across from my largest side. So A is a little bit smaller, so I will find sine A over A. And it's just a matter of plugging in numbers. Sine of 30 degrees over 5.04 equals sine A over A is 8. Yeah. And then from there we can cross multiply, so we have 5.04 sine A equals 8 sine 30, which is really just 4 if you know that. You can divide by 5.04. Now if you type that in your calculator, 8 sine 30 divided by 5.04, okay, we come out with a decimal answer. Well, don't forget that means that sine A is that decimal, 0.794. And remember, to find an angle, you have to use an inverse trig function. So again, you can take your answer and get your solution from that. So sine inverse of your answer. Again, just make sure you're in degrees. Hit enter, so 52.53 is your angle. So A is 52.53 degrees. And hopefully we all remember that there's 180 degrees in a triangle. So I could just do 180 minus 52.53 minus 30 degrees and find out that my last angle is 97.47 degrees. So angle C is 97.47 degrees. And then I'm just going to write it all in the same place so it makes it easy for Mr. Pike to check my solutions. Yay, solutions. Alright, you may also have problems that look like this, where it just gives you the side lengths or it just gives you what parts of the triangle are. You are actually going to have to draw out the triangle, or at least I highly suggest you draw out the triangle, where you label your angle and your side. Let's go ahead and make that meters on all those. Meters. And B, C equals 10 meters. B equals 17 meters. Alright, so with this, again, I do not have any of the angles, so I cannot use law of sines yet. So I know I need to have an angle across from a side that I know. So we're going to have to take a little bit of a longer route and use law of cosines. Oh, you crazy kids. Okay, so if I use law of cosines, I'm going to go ahead and find the biggest angle with law of cosines just to get out of the way. Just don't use law of sines to find the biggest angle, but you can use law of cosines. So if I set this up as b squared equals a squared plus c squared minus 2ac cosine b. Then I have 17 squared equals a squared is 8 squared plus 10 squared minus 2 times 8 times 10 cosine b. And I'm going to simplify these just a little bit to make it a little bit simpler. So this is 289 equals 64 plus 100 is 164 minus 160. Cosine B. Treat this like a negative 160x. So you need to move over that 164 first and then divide by the negative 160. So minus 164 minus 164. So we have 125 equals negative 160 cosine B. Divide by the negative 160. And type in that into your calculator using cosine inverse. Banana phone eats a lot of bananas. That wasn't clever at all. Excuse me?
It really wasn't. Even I know there.
Whatever, Dakota.
Don't say my name. I don't want to be in the video.
Dakota! Likes bananas. He didn't hear that part. Okay, so magically things appeared on the page. Yay. So now we can go back and we know angle B. There's something wrong with me. Ow! Don't hurt yourself.
I already did. It's okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, Lavi. But remember, Lavi, don't hurt yourself. So we can use sine B over B. It doesn't matter which one you find now. You can find A since it's smaller, you can find C, but you know your largest angle has already been found, so the other two are going to be smaller than 90 degrees, so it's fine. Makes no difference. But if we use sine A over A, and it's just a matter of setting this up, so I have sine of 141.38 over 17, sine A over A is 8. I don't want to answer your emails, you stinky people. Hey, cross multiply. Ooh!
It's so pretty. Yes. So pretty. Oh, I should put a bow on it. Oh! It's so pretty.
And then plug it in your calculator. Banana phones are banana phones. Ring, 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 ring. Banana phone.
What do you want, Simon?
Divide by 17. Take sine inverse of your answer. Yay, 17.08. So A is 17.08 degrees. You know there's 180 degrees in a triangle, so you can subtract those both from the triangle to figure out your final angle. So 180 minus 17.08 minus 141.38. I'm sorry that I'm bugging you during your test, McKenna. I apologize. I'm a terrible teacher. And then B is 141.38. And C is 21.54 degrees. They all have degrees because they're all angles, and we are happy because we found all of our answers and they all add up to 180 degrees.
Yay!
That's really pretty much all there is to law of cosines and sines. It's just a matter of practicing those. And make sure you memorize those. Like I said, make sure you memorize either this form or this form. Make sure you memorize one of those, and then all the others you can kind of just change the letters around. The last thing that we are going to talk about today is finding the area of a triangle. If you have all of the sides, there is one called Heron's area formula. Heron's area formula, where you take the semi-perimeter plus B plus C divided by 2. S stands for semi-perimeter. If you have a semicircle, it's half a circle, so semi-perimeter is just half of the perimeter. You can find the area saying the square root of S times S minus A times S minus B times S minus C. Okay, so if we do it that way for this one, notice this is the same triangle that we had in the last one. 8, 10, 17. 8, 10, 17, so I know all the angles and all that stuff are going to come out the same. But if I find the semi-perimeter, I have 8 plus 17 plus 10 divided by 2. That is 25 plus 10 is 35. Half of it is 17.5. And if I plug it into my area formula, I have 17.5 times S minus A, which would be 9.5. S minus B, which is 0.5, and S minus C, which is 7.5. So then I'm going to plug that in my calculator, and magically, poof, I get an area of 24.97. Make sure you tell me units if you have units. So the area is 24.97 meters squared based on Heron's area formula. There are also some other area formulas. Area of a triangle. It is 1/2, 2 of the sides, and the other angle. So that also could be 1/2 BC sine A, or it could be 1/2 AC sine B. Okay, so if you want to just memorize this one even, you can find an angle just like we did in the last problem that we did. So say we take C is 21.54 degrees. I found C. Yay! So if I use C, there we go. I should get the same area. So if I say 1/2 AB sine C, and I found that C was 21.54 degrees, and I can plug it in my formula. 1/2 A is 8, B is 17, sine 21.54. And again, plug that in your calculator. And hey, oh, check that out. It's going to be a little bit off because we rounded this angle C, but it's really close. So again, it would still round to 24.97. So I have the area is 24.97 meters squared. And you'll get the same thing no matter which angle you use. If you find, sorry, I'm moving around a lot. I still don't want to answer your emails though. If you find B, if you find A, if you find C, all of those are going to get you around the same answer. Just know with this one, if you are given 3 sides, it's just going to take more work because you will have had to find that angle. Whereas if you just memorize this one, if you have 3 sides, then you can just plug it in the formula and go. There will be some, though, that you'll be given two sides and an angle. So it may be best to memorize these as well. I'm going to memorize both just because I want to not have to find things if I'm looking for the area. Yeah, whatever questions you guys got, make sure you come in during class and ask those questions. Love you guys. Bye-bye!